The bank vault had a 20-ton door, and its walls were also iron. The builders were so sure that they did not even install a security alarm in the bank vault because it was called an unbreakable vault. The illusion was broken when the robbers made a master plan and hid in this vault by dodging security for the entire 27 hours. Why is it considered the biggest bank robbery in history? Let's go straight before we talk about it. On 19 July 1976, the sun had gone out on Monday and staff members had started arriving at the Société Générale named bank in the French city of Nice. This bank was considered to be the world's most secure and strongest vault bank until today. According to the routine, the bank staff tried to open the vault. It was a very heavy door with an extremely complex lock. They installed a lock combination, but the door did not open. Now it is important to know here that this door had messed up many times before because it weighed about 20 tons. For this reason, it was often stuck. The bank staff felt that it was stuck even today, as usual, so they contacted the vault-making company. After half an hour, the company's experts came to the bank and tried to open the door. But surprisingly, this time the door was not opening, even from the company's experts. They made several attempts, but this door was not ready to open under any circumstances. The matter was becoming serious now because there was a line of customers, and it was now a question of the bank's honor. Finally, after 3 hours, they decided to drill into the vault wall to see what was stuck in the door. There were no forced entry marks on the vault's door, and no targets were found on its 4 walls. When we look inside with a heavy-duty drill machine, do you see that the vault door has been welded and closed by someone from inside? It was very difficult to believe it because there was only one way to get to the vault. There was no light inside and no window. That is, it was impossible to go inside the vault. Seeing this, everyone realized that there was something unusual here. They ordered machinery and decided to break the vault wall and go inside. This work was very time-consuming because these walls were much thicker than normal walls and there was iron in the middle of them. Well, after several hours of hard work, there was so much hole that a person could go inside it, and when they looked inside, it was incompetent. The bank vault was robbed. Some lockers were broken, and some were open. And the most interesting thing was that these famous alphas were written on the wall of the vault with spray paint, whose English translation is without arms, without hate, and without violence. Right now, the bank staff came in with the sense that they saw a tunnel built in the vault's land. Now the next task was that of the police, which had reached that point. The robbers broke and opened 400 of the 4,000 safe boxes, including money and gold blocks, and escaped with valuables from inside the vault. The tunnel they had dug was draining into the city's largest underground sewerage line. There, the police found a lot of evidence, including tools and 27 gas cylinders, with the help of which the robbers had lit a welding flashlight. Not only this, but ventilation equipment for fresh air and about 1 kilometer of electrical cable were also found in the sewerage line. This loot was worth more than $20 million, whose total value today is equal to $110 million. It was not only the largest bank in the century, but this police investigation also had the status of France's largest investigation. Well, this thing had spread all over the world. The bank's reputation had suffered a lot of damage, but it was also a matter of great regret for the French police. For the next several months, the police tried their best and caught people around. The bank staff was interpreted, but no clue about the robbers could be found anywhere. 3 months later, in October 1976, the police received a huge lead. A member of the group of robbers had been caught at the tip of his own girlfriend. At first, he was not convinced, but when the police cleared his health, he burst out and named the entire gang. The surprising thing for the police was that this gang used to be famous for small theft. They did such a big bank heist. This thing was not digesting anything. The mastermind of this plan was actually someone else. An image of Albert Spaghieri. During the interrogation, the gang members gave the name of a person to the police because, according to them, he was the mastermind of the theft. This famous person named Albert Spaghieri was actually a photographer. When the police arrested him, he did not look like a criminal from anywhere. Simple dressing, a simple lifestyle, and living out of the city in a normal house. When contacted from the neighborhood, everyone said that Albert is a simple photographer who always keeps work from his work. But what the police were thinking about Albert Spaghieri was completely different. He immediately confessed to the police that he was the mastermind of the bank robbery. The case was now almost closed for the police. But this was just the beginning. According to Albert, he had earlier taken a locker in this bank and, on the pretext of going to the vault, captured photos of everything. He first placed an alarm clock in his own locker, whose alarm was set at night. When the alarm sounded, there was no alert, nor did any security alarm sound. It was confirmed that there was no security system installed in the vault. He then went to the city government office disguised as an engineer and drew a map of the city. On this map, an estimate was made of where the sewerage line is and how far it is from the bank. After digging a 26-foot tunnel from the nearest sewerage line, he could get out directly into the bank vault. There was a lot of hard effort involved in this, so Albert contacted a gangster in the city and told him the whole plan. That gangster engaged his men in this work. It took about 2 months to dig the tunnel because this work was being done without machinery, and it was very important to do this work only at night, when nobody is present in the bank. During this time, Albert was trying his best not to make any noise, even up to the road above the sewerage line. Then on July 18th, Saturday and Sunday night, he finally entered the vault. For the next 27 hours, they looted with great comfort, during which they also had lunch and dinner there. And as he left, he went away with this famous alpha. The police presented Albert in court, where he also confessed his crime in front of the judge. During the interrogation, he wrote the evidence of his plan and the details of the looted money in court word on a piece of paper. He said that he would give this evidence only to the judge, and only the judge would be able to read this court word. For this work, the judge called Albert to his room. Albert handed over the paper to the judge, on which the map of the city was made. The judge was just beginning to understand the map when Albert immediately jumped from the window of the room. This room was on the first floor, and a car was parked below it. Albert fell on the roof of the car and immediately stood up, sat on a bike that was already waiting for him, and fled. Despite the police's best efforts, he could not be caught. Many years later, his interview was broadcast on a TV show in Italy, in which he said that I used to be very fond of the ample treasures at the age of 12, and I completed this hobby from this heist. It seemed that, through this interview, he was harassing the French police. Where did Albert go after that? This mystery is annoying the French police today. Where Albert went after that, this mystery has not been solved to date. Albert Spaggieri faces death in 1989. His mother said that Albert's dead body was kept outside his house. Please comply if you have any interrogation.